This conference will now be recorded.
Let's first talk about WLST. I've been to this WebLogic and WebLogic related technologies, fusion middleware, around 10 years, 10 plus years, and I have started a blog, WLST by examples. So whatever I have keep on learning, I keep on adding into that blog. Then I started this recently 2 years back. Why don't we start a batch for this course, WebLogic Automation? So this is all about my accumulated learnings and experiences. So automation everywhere. Right now, people are working on agile methodology as life cycle structure of the software is changed from waterfall model to agile. Everybody wants the results quicker and smaller, shorter, and smarter. For this one, Python is the best thing. That is what introduced in WebLogic 10 years back. So WebLogic WLST, that is WebLogic scripting tool, that is integrated with multiple things. The structure of the program is Python based, and it is using Jython libraries, and it is based on Java management extension client. So that is based on the every J2E server, it is implemented the specification, JMX specification. So this is also uses the same concept. Even WebSphere uses a similar concept, JMX client, that they are calling as a WS admin. So WS admin is nothing but again Jython scripting. So that is all about the what is WLST in a high level. Myself, Pavan Devarakonda. Full name is Pavan Bhavani Shekhar Devarakonda. I have been well educated and multiple years of experience into WebLogic and Fusion middleware trainings, and I'm giving multiple blogs and couple of trainings all over. So these are the things. In this demo, what we are going to cover this demo, what is WLST, try to understand deeper level, and then how WLST is working, and then who can do this, what is benefit they're going to get from this, and high level course outline. This is not my idea for today's demo, but you can ask your questions as many as possible, and we can have more interactive session. This is not a webinar, this is a completely interactive session. Okay, so let me begin. The first thing is, what is WLST? WebLogic scripting tool. So it is going to run on one single JVM. Just like our WebLogic server or managed server runs, this is also runs in one JVM. So it is going to run with one JVM. What it is going to run? It is going to run a JMX client. What is JMX? Java Management Extension. Java Management Extension, it is specially specified. It is used for introspect the server, WebLogic servers, the entire domain, or Fusion middleware products. Any over Oracle products, you can introspect. Means you can check the content of the server configurations, domain configurations, or any services which are configured. All those information you can retrieve from this JMX client. JMX client will discuss much more detail when we start the first session. But anyway, the high level JMX client gives you two different mbeans, management beans. One is config mbean, another one is runtime mbean. Config means configuration bean. Suppose I'm going to create one WebLogic server. I need server name, I need listen address, I need listen port. So these are the basic three requirement inputs I'm going to give, and it is going to configure a server. This is configuration information you are provided that is stored into the config mbin. When you start the server, WebLogic server, that will be started and you are going to get running state, then the server is going to give you runtime mbin. So there are two types of mbins: config mbin, runtime mbin. These informations you can retrieve, you can connect offline and online. When you're connected, you are going to get the runtime. If you are not connected to the server, it is offline. Okay, that's the basic thing, the JMX client related information. So, why we are going to work with the WLST? What is the specialty is? It is interpreted language. It is a programming language. It is a scripting language. You can interact. You can navigate to certain mbins and get the information. And that when you are interacting, it is absolutely Unix style. You can navigate to CD, you can say pwd, you can say ls, all these commands similar to Unix like commands, and you can get the information about mbin content. And this is completely object oriented. Python is object oriented, Java is, JVM, so that is object oriented. We are using the JVM, that's why this WLST is also object oriented, because all the mbins are objects. Yeah. So objects will contain two parts again. The first thing attributes, second thing its operations or its functions. Okay. So all the attributes that holds the values, all the functions are going to have some written or non-written functionality or capabilities. Okay. So this WLS session you can have for one particular query on the server, or you can execute continuously. Suppose you want to monitor 100 servers running domain, you need a session to continuously check for all the servers. So that in incorporation, that it internally it creates one session for that particular WLST JVM. And when you are doing this connection checking, disconnecting, connection checking and disconnecting, you want to check, is it connecting to the admin server or 100 servers, it is working fine or not. Then robustness comes into picture, that will be given by exception handling mechanism. Try catch is a simple mechanism introduced in Java, and Python is also uses the try and except. Then finally, that is a structure it is used. Dynamic typing. Any scripting language follows the dynamic typing. What is the meaning of type? One type. If I am saying x is equal to 10, that is integer type. If I am saying x is equal to admin server, it is a string. Admin server is a name, so it is a string. So x is changed from 10 to the string, integer to string. So dynamically x value is varying, changing. That is possible in any scripting language, even in bash or ksh, and same way in our WLST scripting also. In a high, very high level, your dynamic data types will work, and if there is a need, you can convert from one type to another type. There are Python based classes internally for basic data storage, and we can also create WLST based classes. Automatically, memory will be allocated for each object that is created from the class. Memory management is very simple, and it uses JVM garbage collection. So GC, the concept what is used in the Java, what you are using, JDK, what you are using, accordingly, the same garbage collection mechanism will be used when you are running the WLST. Don't worry about the GC and all that. The memory allocation, to run the bigger scripts, you need to allocate the memory, JVM memory you need to allocate. A remarkable power with a very clear syntax. If you write a C program, if you write a C++ program, you write a Java program, you must follow the flower brackets, but the code line can be anywhere after the semicolon. 2, 3 statements you can write in a single line. Here in Python structure, the syntax is very clear. You must use the block structure. You must use indentation. Every block, if you are using if condition, if you are using else condition, if you are using while, everything follows the clear syntax. Indentation, you have to follow. So how to follow all those things, I will explain in detail in the session. So interfaces, many system calls you can have with the libraries. When you are dealing with the WLST, it is going to interact with some of the lines, the Python libraries. Some of them will work with the Python and JMX, Java, WebLogic related libraries. How this works, WLST, how this is going to work. I'm going to write a program and name it as a WLST. Sorry. In the left side, you can see WLST script, my WLST.py, that is a Python script, and the Python interpreter is going to help us to check this syntax. Then your engine, your WLST engine is going to work, Python compiler that compiles, interact, and it is going to create a intermediate code. So that intermediate code is called bytecode. Just like our Java, whenever you write a Java program, it will convert it into bytecode. Then it is going to use the JVM, and using the JIT compilers, it is going to execute the program. Then it will go to the screen or any file. So it is going to the display. WLST output is going to be coming over there. Okay. So this is how the WLST interacts with the different types of libraries, and at the bottom WebLogic libraries also used. So in the WebLogic, we are going to have WebLogic domain, WebLogic server installation. So in the servers lib is going to have weblogic.jar file that will be actually supporting this library to run the WLST. And every version WLST is completely upgrading and keep on adding new functionalities and changing. So if I write a program in a WebLogic 11G and the program you want to run in the 12C, it might be different. Program in the sense the WebLogic kernel side, WebLogic jar side, it is going to have some changes. There might be new parameters added. There might be different function that be added. For example, if I'm going to create a domain, WebLogic domain, earlier in the 11G or previous read template, it's a simple function. Now, the same thing is given in the 12.2, WebLogic 12.2.1 versions. They are going to use select template, then load template. Same concept, read template is changed into two different uh, functions. So why it is splitted? Because of the libraries. The templates are jars, and those jars are separated. Multiple jars, if you are selecting and you are going to read, then it will be very simplified. That's why. So in 12C, it is changed. So some of the functions works, some of the functions may not work. That is specific to WebLogic. If you are writing for loop, if you are writing if condition, Python structure, that will remain same. Okay. Who can do this WLST? Anybody who was working as a WebLogic administrator who deals with the WebLogic, they can learn WLST. Right now, present market is booming with the DevOps and DevOps engineers, SRE, and a lot of titles are there for jobs. So who are working with the Fusion middleware containers, they can learn WLST. In Docker, in Kubernetes, these are very crucial, very critical. If you know WLST, it will be very simplified because Docker and Kubernetes doesn't have UIs. They always rely on scripting. WLST is one of the important part when you're working with the Docker or Kubernetes. Fusion middleware developers who are working as SOA or OSP admins or web center sites, web center portals admins, all Fusion middleware products, the 28 products which are in the Fusion middleware stack, they all works based on the Weblogic. They can all learn. And each Fusion middleware product is going to have extra functionalities. If I'm going to take SOA, WebLogic plus SOA, so another set of functions will be added from the SOA. If I'm going to use OSP, OSP related functions different. If I'm using web centers, web center related functions will be added on top of WebLogic infrastructure. Any questions? So benefits of WLST script. It is built on Jython version 2.2 in latest version. Jython was not developed much. It is on hold for almost 7 years. The reason behind this one, Python is owned by a person and he continuously monitoring who is changing, what is committing. Both are open source programming languages or scripting languages. But Jython is not maintained. That's why it is not developed as fast as Python. So Python functions, lot of functions, lot of new functionalities are there, but which we cannot use in the WLST. That is a one minus point, negative point. Okay, so WLST uses Jython, and it is a very simple, clear syntax. You can use Java libraries. You can import Java programs. You can write your own development. Who know Java development, they can call that one in the WLST. Platform independent. Anywhere you can run one script you written in the Linux platform. The same script can be run on the Windows. The domain can work. The only thing is you need to differentiate the path. Okay, so that is the only dependent. If you keep that one into a properties file, then the entire script will run without any changes. The fast in performance. So once the WLST is into running state, after that it will continuously runs faster. But beginning takes some time because of loading the Jython libraries, including the capability. What kind of capabilities? In WebLogic 8 version or previous version, we have a separate tool called weblogic.admin. So this is actually interact with the mbins. That admin is actually a client, JMX client. So it is going to give the details, runtime values, and configuration values, etc. So it's an alternative. It's a replacement. WebLogic admin is replaced with WLST. WebLogic deployer. We can do some 28 different commands with the WebLogic deployer at the time of deployments. You can deploy, update, and delete, deploy, undeploy libraries, and you can deploy applications. All these capabilities you can do from the weblogic.deployer command line utility. The same functionality you can do from the WLST. WebLogic, if you are having, why should I go for the deployer? Why should I go with the WLST? You have everything with the admin console. Here, when you have SOA component, and you are going to work with the SOA component. It doesn't work with single component. It is going to work with at most 50 to hundreds of components will work together to deploy. So if you have more number of deployment components, deployment units, you cannot do one by one click next install. That is very hard. Simplest way is use the script. Using the script means you can use command line script or you can use WLST Python script. So these are the alternatives when you have more number of components to deploy. The next point is using the AND, it's the embedded task. You are going to call WebLogic config, WL config, or WL deploy. These are the two functionality tasks which are defined specially for AND. And so AND task, it is going to build. If you run the AND command, it is going to run the build.xml. Then your configuration will be updated. Your WebLogic domain will be updated. Deployment, you can deploy the applications using this WL deploy. Same things you can do with the WLST. Configuration wizard, earlier it was silent mode installation configuration. Now these domains, WebLogic domains, how you want that we can customize. We can create WebLogic domains, n number of domains for developers, and you can take existing domain and recreate the WebLogic domains using the WLST. So these are all activities alternatively we can do from the WLST. These are the benefits. Any questions? Moving on. Demo on WLST, Python, Jython, and WLST. So I just want to bring up my terminal. Yeah. So I'm using a simple virtual box. So if you want to practice your WLST, what do you need? One is download Vagrant. The second thing is VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox. From these two, you can bring up a VirtualBox. So once you bring up that, you can connect from the PuTTY terminal and you can use it. Okay. So this, how do you use? One simple script is there. I'll just show you. Vagrant file. So this is a file. It's a Ruby-based script that will help you to bring up a Linux box. I'm using a Ubuntu Linux box. So there are a lot of virtual boxes which you can bring up. You can just simply search for Vagrant boxes. You can get a lot of boxes. Suppose you want to search for the CentOS, CentOS. You can just search for that, and you can get the version this Vagrant box and the path where it is available on the cloud. So it is available on the cloud. You can simply write these 3 lines and you can bring up the file. So what I have added extra flavor to that is I'm just sharing my local drive, local one directory, and I want to use it in the Linux box. And how much memory I want to use for that virtual box? 4 GB RAM. How many CPUs I want to use? That is also I mentioned 2 CPUs. I have 8 cores, so I can use 2 cores for that. So this is how we can distribute what you need and what is the requirement for the any WebLogic server. Okay, so this is a tiny box or squeezed box. That's why we are using the Vagrant. Otherwise, you can install and do a lot of stuff. It will take a lot of time. This will take only few minutes to bring up the Linux box. And extra thing is the private network IP address. This is a static IP address configuration automatically done by one single line. You just need to mention private network and IP address. So it will be automatically created. Okay. So IP address is configured. I am able to access this. Let me connect. Okay. Okay. So this is how we can create our lab on our laptop itself, and it is very small, simple. As well. Okay. So first thing, we are making automations. You should all aware of simple tricks for bringing up all the things together. So I'm just writing WLST and hit enter. It is automatically loading my WLST shell. Okay. So how this is possible? What I've done here. Um, Same thing is not going to work in your production and in your system, in your development domain. So the simple trick is here dot bash rc dot bash profile. These are the two things which are which helps you to make the script run at the time of loading logging. Okay, once you log into your shell, you are able to export some variables. So these environment variables, and this is the alias. So I'm just using one environment variable that is called middleware home, Oracle common bin. In that one, there is a WLST.sh is present. Okay, so that WLST shell, I'm just alias shortcut I have created. I've just given the WLST, and it is run. Okay, so that is how we can use the trick for bringing up the WLST or shell to work on it. Okay, so here first thing is help. These are all functions readily available in WLST. You can see using the help, and whenever you are using Python functions, the functions always uses the bracket. Okay, so this you want to see all the functions, then this is around 200 to 300 functions are given here, and some of them are related with the Fusion middleware, some of them are WebLogic specific, some of them are just WLST shell. We'll see one after the other, and the sections you see here, these are all different sections of help. Each one separately you can see. For all is for all, but you want to just navigate, browse between, you want to see which hierarchy you are in MBean, then you can just use the browse related help. So you will be getting all the functions related to browse, PD, currently, prompt, PWD. Okay, so that is the help which you can see for the WLST. All right. So if you want to see some dynamic type, means x is equal to 10, I'm just giving the value and it is an integer type. So if I'm going to say x type, then it is mentioning that type is int type. Okay. So id of x is another function, that's a Python function. It is just mentioned that how many memory addresses, which one address it is used. It is identified from the JVM, it creates one address and there it is going to store. So if I'm saying same x is equal to hello, then again type, then you can see it is changed to str. Str is a type, string type in Python. Okay, so id x, now it is 2, means a new address is taken and the second address location, memory location used for this. Okay, so that is a dynamic typing. You can use any calculation and you can store, and you can use print statement. Okay, so there is a little confusion about plus, minus, which one I can use, which one we can ignore, right? So plus is when you're using with the numbers, it is arithmetic operator, and if you're using with the strings, let's say x is equal to Weblogic plus admin This also works without any error. Okay. So then if I say print X, it is printing two strings together. So concatenation of two strings will be done with the this plus operator. Okay. So hope this is a little basic. I understood. Okay. Then move on. So what we are going to cover in this overall course, I'm going to cover high level what is WebLogic scripting tool and how that is going to connect with the middleware automations. What are the things you can do automate? Installation, configuration, environments. Whenever you do installation, you run with the script and then you go with the configuration environments. So this is a little basic requirement for every first steps, baby steps for the automation. Then we try to understand the first set, the complete 9 sessions will be working with the different Python based programming in your WLST. So how you can use the different types of data types, what are the types, sequence types, map types, understand each one and use them perfectly, understand, and then move on to the functions and strings. So strings, string related functions we'll see, and then programming controls. We try to understand how the logic will be implemented in our script. In this we'll cover if condition, while, for, break, continue, etc. Then we're going to work on the functions specifically, and it is going to have some return values and how shorter or how simpler you can make that as a single line, that is called lambda function. Lambda functions also we'll see, and then we'll have exception handling. We try to understand robustness and we make the script without stopping, unstoppable script, how to make that. If you understand the Python error, if you understand Jython exception, understand the WLST exception, then you can make the script robust script. The next is file and file operations. Most of the monitoring scripts we are going to develop, that monitoring scripts need to be stored, or sometimes you need to read the data from a text file and you want to show it on HTML, or you want to send it as an email HTML format. Okay, so how to read a text file and you can transform that into a HTML file, that we'll see in a file input and output. Then the object orientation with WLST. Within the WLST, how we can create a class, what are the basic concepts of object orientation. We understand the functions already given, but if the function is present in the class, how it is going to work. And some of the functions very typical in the Python, we never understand that we say double underscore init underscore underscore. What is that meaning? So it is called magical function in Python. So what does it do? You don't need to call the function, it will work automatically. That's why it is called magical function. So what are those functions? We try to understand in detail at the time of objects, classes, the WLST. One more important thing that is special, and it is related with the shell scripting, same what you have in the AWK or in the ACD or in the VI editor, regular expressions, what you see, the same regular expressions will be work in Python also. So that Python mechanism, Python regular expression mechanism, will leverage a lot of time when you are searching for a particular thing in a MB, in a data that is coming as a huge, and you want to extract particular niche values, then you have to use regular expressions, matching, searching, and how do you find and replace from a text, from a file, that you can do with the regular expression. So this is all basic Python programming with WLST. Second part will deal with the MBs, make things offline and online, and we also use with the Domain creations. There are three different softwares in WebLogic. First, development domain, development WebLogic. Second, infrastructure. Third, generic that can run on anywhere, any platform. The infrastructure is base for Fusion middleware product. If you are not working on Fusion middleware, you just go with the generic. That's enough. Okay. So domain which you are going to create, again, base domain will work for normal WebLogic administration. But if you are working with the restricted JRF, if you are working with the SOA, if you are working with the OSB domains, or if you are working with any other Fusion middleware product, the domain will need much more capabilities, much more templatization capabilities. Domain environment, WebLogic domain, it is going to use managed servers, machines, clusters, all this will have a simple function, and we create that one, run it, see that how it is going to go. Okay. The next one is service. ADBC is another. When you're dealing with a database, you must have a database on your system. One container, one virtual box or vagrant box you can have with the JDBC, and we'll connect with this database WebLogic connection. One script that is going to work for the generic data source creation. If you create two generic data sources, you can make multi data source also. So that is one. The next part is JMS, another service. JMS deals with the JMS server, JMS module, connection factories, queues, topics. So these are the basic requirements in JMS. We try to learn all this, and we are going to develop the script that will work on the domain. Application deployment, normal application, web application we try to deploy and try to see what is the status of the application and then undeploy the application. Monitoring the different areas of the WebLogic domain, server monitoring, whole servers in a domain or in a development. You can see the server monitoring scripts executed. Database monitoring, how the connection pool performing, how many connections are available, how many are touching the threshold value that we can see in the JDBC monitoring. JMS monitoring, how the messages are transferred and it is having any stuck or is there any errors, that is we are going to monitor JMS servers. JVM monitoring, you're going to have the garbage collection on every managed server, how it is performing, how much JVM free space is available, how much it is occupied. That we can see from the WLST script. All right. And once you find this monitoring, then what is the next action? Something goes critical. How do you deal with that? That is what troubleshooting. What is the next steps? You have to think about that, and you can develop the next strategy as well. Let's say for JVM, it is reaching 80% of that memory allocated. Then what do you need to do? You need to restart, or you need to go for the garbage collection forceful. So this action should be done automatically, right? So this monitoring will help further next betterment of your WebLogic domain. Finally, we are going to have complete set of different tips which we can use on the WLST best practices and reduce the startup time and understand all the new features which are there in the 12.1, that is the latest WebLogic version. All right, so that's about what I would like to talk. Do you have any questions? If no questions, then we'll wind
Yeah,
up.
Pawan, I do have some question. So you mean to say weblogic.admin it's deprecated or it's no longer used? I said it is going to work with WLST, right? There are two utilities you have discussed.
Weblogic.admin, yes, it is
Yeah.
removed from the WebLogic 12.2 onwards. There is no more WebLogic admin usage. You
Okay.
can
Still, we
use
can use
WLST.
the dot deployer. We can use, right?
Deployer you can use. Admin is
Okay. It's
only
only.
deployer.
Yeah. Fine. Fine. So. Okay. And how about that side-by-side deployment? On can we get the retrieve of information using dot WebLogic dot deployer?
Yeah, sure. Definitely you can do version-based deployment. Side by side means version-based deployment. You
That's
can do
true. Yeah.
that. Yeah, that is available.
Oh, okay. No, I need to get a status of this and everything. We can retrieve, right?
Yeah, you can retrieve.
Okay. Fine. Thanks, Pawan.
Okay. Any other questions which I could take up? Afro, Chandra, Melvin,
So,
Abhishek.
say, how fast it is like comparatively connecting through WLST to admin and through node manager?
It is comparatively it is slow. Admin and yeah, because Python libraries need to be loaded first. But after connecting, after loading that libraries, then it will be fast.
So, how node manager is fast compared to admin?
Node manager is only monitoring your managed server. It is not that, yeah. So it is faster because it is the smallest Java JVM compared with the admin server.
Will it return the status of the WebLogic server?
It cannot retrieve. It is just informed to admin server. It is not going to. It is just stores into files that status, but it is not having any interaction with admins. We don't have any output. No.
So, will it directly fetch all the required attribute values, MBIN values from managed servers without interacting admin server? Like for example, say what is the state of the server? Is it up and running, and what is the uptime, and what is the deployment status? Different things. So can we get through Node Manager?
Node manager interacts with the status. It doesn't interact with complete domain. It will interact with only the server, managed server, but it doesn't deal with the deployment or application related stuff.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Melvin, you have something?
No, no question.
Thank you.
Thank
Abhishek, you have any question?
No question, Pawan.
So you are
Okay,
following me?
I have a question. So what time is this? Are these sessions going to be? Are they going to be weekends or weekdays, like this time?
That depends on the majority people how they are ready for that. So Shailaja will finalize that one.
Okay.
I hope this would be mornings of IST India time,
When is
7:30
the new batch is starting?
onwards. New batch will be coming Monday onwards.
Okay. So it will be during IST timings
Yeah, it will be in IST time.
in the morning.
Morning 7:30.
Okay. And how much you are going to charge?
Shailaja will talk about that one. So I just deal with the technical part.
Okay.
Any other questions? So guys, please follow my blog. Thank you very much for your time. So we'll get connected Monday onwards. who are interested committing, please inform to Shailaja and she will be scheduling the new batch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Pawan.